Well, is anybody surprised that the Iran ceasefire is imploding again? The administration is panicking, and almost like a sick joke, Vice President JD Vance says that this is kind of funny. Kind of funny, but causing global horror. The most ended war in American history, as I have come to know it, Donald Trump's Iran war, is seeing another completely pathetic setback. And I know because I saw your emails last week, many of you expected that exactly this was going to happen. What took place in Switzerland is that Iranian negotiators walked out of the peace talks. Now, this was going to be it. We were going to finally get to the 32nd ending of this war. We signed a letter. We would negotiate in Switzerland. We have 60 days to negotiate, but we're certainly not going to need that much. But the whole point is the end was in sight. And then in comes Golden Boy JD Vance, who is going to head negotiations, which should have been a red flag to everybody right away. And it doesn't work because Donald Trump threatens to blow the S out of them. And Iran immediately says, we are lodging a formal complaint with the Pakistani and Qatari mediators. And then the Iranian negotiators simply walked out. The negotiators on their way out also mentioned, Trump should be pretty careful because Iran's armed forces are ready to respond if Trump does start the bombing. So we go from it's finally over again to it's 60 days to negotiate to each side threatening the other with bombs and military hostilities. So then we get to JD Vance. This happened just minutes ago. He gave a sort of press conference, I guess we would call it, in Switzerland. He's getting ready to leave. It's not going to be negotiated here. And Vance actually says some of this is funny. He goes, it's funny. We were trying to call the inspectors at 2 a.m. and they didn't pick up. It's all so funny. People are dying here. Billions of dollars are being spent. Anyway, let's listen to what JD Vance had to say here. And it is nauseating.
Also, in terms of when we could see this entire conflict end, do you think this can end by the midterm elections?
Well, look, right now the conflict is in a ceasefire, and certainly our hope is that we get to the final deal and a permanent settlement. But right now, I think we've made great progress, and we should all celebrate that. In terms of when the nuclear inspectors are going to start, it's funny, we were trying to call some of the inspectors last night around 2.
It's so fun. It's ha-ha funny. You guys know that.
Inspectors last night around 2 in the morning. As you can expect, not many people were answering their phone at 2 in the morning. I expect that will happen at the minimum this week. But we think even some of those conversations with the inspectors and with the IAEA could happen as soon as today. But I haven't checked in with our team since we made that 2 a.m. phone call to some of those inspectors.
Funny is not necessarily the word that comes to my mind here. It's so funny that they're not answering our calls. It's so funny that we're about to leave. It's so funny that we've made great progress, yet both sides are threatening to bomb each other. First, really quick, a word from our sponsor. On busy days, I am not looking for a complicated food solution. I want something fresh, filling, fast, good enough that it doesn't feel like a compromise. And that's why our sponsor, Forkful, has been a lifesaver. Forkful delivers fully prepared, chef-cooked meals to your door, never frozen, ready in under 3 minutes. Every meal is made with simple ingredients, locally sourced vegetables, high-quality proteins, sauces made from scratch, no weird fillers or preservatives. They can accommodate any diet you're on, plant-based, keto, high-protein, many, many options. I tried the barbacoa bowl with white rice and black beans, tender beef, peppers, sour cream sauce, delicious, tender, the kind of lunch I'd be excited to have again. Go to davidpakman.com/forkful and use the code Pakman for 50% off your first box plus 10% off your next 3 orders. The link is in the description. Now, back to the video. JD Vance then says, he sort of weighs in on what they told the Iranians yesterday. And he goes, we don't like the trash talk. Trump is going to respond to your trash talk. Understand that Trump threatened to assassinate Iranian negotiators. And JD goes, the trash talk. I don't know about the trash talk. Sorry, wrong clip. Here we go.
What we told the Iranians yesterday is When you guys engage in what us millennials might call trash talk,
I'm just such a hip millennial, and that's what we call
you
it.
can't expect the President of the United States not to respond and not to correct the record. So when they say things that aren't true, the President is going to respond to it. I'm going to respond to it. Americans are going to respond to it. When they make threats that aren't rooted in reality, they have to accept that the President of the United States is actually going to set the record straight. That's all that happened. So yes, there was a little bit of threatening, there was a little bit of whining, but at the end of the day, the talks continued and we made great progress.
It appears as though the progress is not really taking place because Iranian negotiators walked out and both sides are threatening each other with violence. Now, let me just to kind of give you a sense of how backwards all of this is. Very rarely in my life have I found myself thinking we would be much better off by adding Marco Rubio to a situation. That's not my thought at sporting events. It wasn't my thought in the Senate. It's never been my instinct that the addition of Marco Rubio would help anything. But Vance is so terrible at all of this that I actually do find myself saying we might be better off if Marco Rubio had been sent rather than JD Vance. Another just completely beyond belief moment. Vance goes, what Jared Kushner and the Qataris have been able to accomplish is a classic Trump deal. Now, when I hear classic Trump deal, I think, oh, so it's like a complete and total failure. I see that because I don't know of any other way to interpret a classic Trump deal.
And as much as I see some of the press misreporting on this, and of course, buttressed by what the Iranians are saying, or not all Iranians, I want to be clear. There are a lot of Iranians who are telling the truth about what happened yesterday, but you see some social media reporting that gets this wrong. But fundamentally, what Jared and the Qataris and the entire team here in Bergenstock accomplished is, to me, a classic Trump deal, where if Iranian assets are ever unfrozen, they're going to go to make American farmers richer and to feed the Iranian people. That's a very, very good and very classic Trump deal. That's great for our people, great for the people of Iran, and fundamentally, again, will contribute to this regional security architecture that we've built. And
another classic Trump deal. Global incompetence and humiliation born out of a desire for self-enrichment and self-aggrandizement. Of course, another classic Trump deal. And then finally, not really a surprise to anybody, JD's bailing out. We've got 60 days and JD, after fewer than 48 hours in Switzerland, he goes, it's beautiful here, but I got to get home to the United States. What a profile in courage and diplomacy.
Those technical negotiations are going to continue over the weeks and days to come. We wanted to set up a structure for that so that you could have proper political oversight, but obviously, as much as this place is very beautiful, I can't stay here for the next 60 days. I'm about to go back home to the United States. But the technical teams are going to be working with proper oversight to make sure that we're accomplishing the objectives that matter for everyone.
They told me no cappuccino after 11 a.m. And as beautiful as it is here, there's no skiing because it's summer and I'm going back to the United States. But Mr. Vice President, sir, what about the entire deal that must be signed? Well, I don't know about that. It seems that for the war to really end, it's going to have to end for a 33rd time. Ending it 32 times is simply not quite enough.